Thank you so much. And I actually wanted to give Nicole a chance to do her stump speech because I think it's very important that our candidates have a chance to do that. So I'm going to have her go first, and I'll be back. I'm not going to give you the whole thing because you just got kind of part of it. I mean, you got some of the values out of it. And one of the things that I do want to talk to you about, though, is what's changed and what opportunities we have in front of us in this election cycle, in this congressional district. If you take a look at the boundaries that our redistricting commission sat down and drew, I think they were looking at the first congressional district, frankly, and they were saying, how do we get all the Democrats out of it? And they drew these little lines around all these Democratic neighborhoods in Boise, and they shoved them into the second congressional district. That's a good thing for us. Because I think they were just thinking about the first congressional district and not about what that does when it puts in those districts in Boise, which have probably twice as many voters in them as a lot of districts in the East, because people are living right around the Capitol. They get politics, they're involved, and it put them in here with Pocatello, with Ketchum, with good Swing Twin Falls and this beautiful core of Idaho Falls and Teton County and American Falls, and that gave us something to work with. Yeah. And then the other thing, and that is how much horrible stuff the legislature has thrown at the state the last 2 years, and how much work I have had to do along with my legislative colleagues to stand up against it, and how familiar many people across the state became with us, because again and again, those of us who stood up did get some coverage, did get heard, because we were speaking for those of you who really were losing very important pieces of what our legislature is supposed to do to make your lives better and to make your families strong and to make our state work. Well, I hope that I can convey to you something that was a huge surprise to me when I declared that I was going to run for Congress. And that is just the amazing enthusiasm from people around the state. I was not prepared for that. I was prepared for what I've had to do when I worked as a campaign staffer on many campaigns, which is work hard to get people on the ground involved. But when I declared, I had people write me, call me, email me, Facebook me, text message me to say, sign me up. I'm going to work for you in Rigby. I'm going to work for you in Rexburg. I'm going to work for you in wonderful places across the state. And for that, many of you, some of you are in this room, I can't tell you how much that means to me and how much it means to this race, because that makes it a different kind of race. When there are people on the ground talking to their neighbors about a candidate they have seen the work of, it can insulate that candidate against the most impressively funded media barrage you've ever seen. Because when someone you know talks to you over the fence or in the grocery store about a candidate, that is worth 100 TV ads. So thank you all, because for me to have your support on that level and for you to know my work and to be able to talk about it is amazing. And I so appreciate it. So. I'm going to give you a couple quick things that we get to work with that are handed to us by our Congressman Simpson, and one of them is that he voted yes on the Ryan budget. Cuts education, puts the security of our American seniors at risk. That is unacceptable. And this is a man who we once felt was a moderate and who knew his way. I am afraid that in the politics of today's Congress, he has lost that way. And that is sad.
He went into politics to support Ayn Rand. The hell with him.
It's sad. And as far as jobs go, let me say this. Every time you vote to cut certain parts of our budget, you eliminate thousands of jobs. And you need to look at the budget cuts our nation has made and think carefully. Because during the New Deal, we understood government had a role in the economy. It could be destructive or it could be constructive. And at this point, our Congress seems not to understand basic economics, which are when you eliminate jobs, it doesn't matter how much you want to talk about creating jobs in the private sector, you have just hurt those businesses that were going to create those jobs. And we get that. And I think you all get that. And you get that while you may not like regulations in a general, abstract sense, dismantling the EPA puts all of the drinking water that our kids depend on to live healthy lives. It puts that at risk. We may trust some companies that we know to keep our air and our water clean, but we don't trust all of them, and we are glad somebody is watching them.
China will watch them.
Yeah. And then it floats over here. So with that, I just want to thank you so much and ask you to take those messages to your neighbors and friends, and just please know how much I appreciate you. I have some yard signs out there. I have sign up over there. I have some literature that you can pass to people, little cards you can give to folks or put out in cafes or whatever you'd like. But thank you so much. I am so excited to work with all of you these next 6 months.
Thanks so much, Nicole. Can we get a round of applause for all the people that put together such a lovely evening? We're having such a nice time. Ben, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here and to be taking over as interim executive director. I know that we've been working hard for years, and I want you to know that this is our time and that things are changing and that we still need to work hard, but we have some opportunities and we need to be poised to take advantage of them. And we are thrilled to have Nicole running in this district so that we have a congressional candidate that is out on the ground talking Democratic values. And I am so thrilled, and thank you so much again. I know we've already thanked them, that to all those candidates that are out in the crowd tonight. It takes courage to put yourself out there and run as a candidate. So another round of applause for all of you guys. Thank you. Let me tell you why I think that we have opportunities that we haven't had before. Nicole mentioned one of them, and that's redistricting. We have new numbers to work with, and those numbers are exciting, and they give us possibilities in places that we haven't had those possibilities before. And we've got more candidates this year than we've had in 2 decades, and that is absolutely amazing to see Democrats stepping out of the woodwork, realizing that there's opportunities, and willing to stand up and put themselves out there. And that is an exciting, exciting thing, and we all need to get behind them. I know many of us have been working hard for many years, but this is our time. The Republicans have overplayed their hand. We're calling the GOP the party of cronyism, craziness, and corruption, and that's exactly what they've done. All of their choices, time and time again, show that they're out of touch with the people of Idaho and the values and priorities that they hold. And we need to take this time, we need to grab a hold of it, and we need to all find our part to play. And as executive director, that really is what I feel like my job is to make sure that everybody finds the proper place and their proper role for how to play, and make sure that we take the advantage of this opportunity. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about the different roles that it takes to support our candidates. Our candidates have already stepped forward, and that is great, but we all as Democrats have a job to do. You need to look at your own circumstance and decide, what can I give the candidates running in my district? If it's $5, that's great. If it's $1,000, that's great. If it's door knocking, that's wonderful. If it's talking to all of your neighbors, having a house party, whatever it is, voting is the very base block of what we can do. And we need everybody to be voting, but as people in this room supporting our candidates, we need to reach down deep and figure out what is my skill set, what gets me passionate, what am I excited about, and how can I help get these candidates elected. Please, please, please think about that more than anything else, and make sure that you find your part to play, because we all have it. And that is an exciting, exciting thing. And I am thrilled to see what happens in the next 6 months as we take this journey together and see what we can do in the state of Idaho and how things change. And it's not going to happen overnight. We're going to have to continue to do this. But I think the groundwork that we lay in this 2012 election is going to be groundwork that carries us through and makes long-term change happen for the people of Idaho, so that the people of Idaho start to finally see that it's Democrats that stand up for their values. It's Democrats that get what the priorities are, that we are going to work towards the economy and make sure that real change happens there, to make sure that we have an ethical government that works for the best interest of the people and not for the best interest of themselves, and make sure that our kids and our future are getting the education that they need to carry themselves into a 21st century economy. So thank you guys all for coming tonight, and thank you for all being a part of the process and supporting the Idaho Democrats with everything that you do, and Bonneville County Democrats as well. Thank you.